There comes a time in every man's life where he has to be the hobby hero. All right, welcome back to the West Coast Davengers. I'm Dave. And despite that I don't really do this anymore, usually once a year, I'm going to submit books to CGC. And well, I got my submission back, minus one book, which is still in process because it's a JSA CGC signature thing. It's actually a book signed by Stan Lee and Joe Simon. So that's not here, but I did get two boxes back. One is a vintage and one is a more modern. So we're going to see what I got, because in my tradition of grading books, I don't like to know the grades before they come back. I like it to be a surprise, whether that surprise is a good one or a bad one. So why don't I get to opening the boxes, and you're going to see what I got as I see it for the first time. Okay, I interrupt this to just tell you to stick around. There's an epilogue to this video, because after I looked at some of these books, I noticed something that was really off. And CGC, they can't do anything 100% right. So stick around after the unboxing and I'll tell you what's going on. Now, the smart person in me made a list of what I submitted and what the grades I think I'm going to get before I sent them to my presser. The great Epic Comicology, who has been doing my books for a couple years. Props to you, Taj. Box one. I'd like to do the modern then the vintage, but we'll see what is in here. By the back, I can see that's the more modern. And so I'm going to tell you what grades I think I got on the books that I submitted. Spawn 8 and 12, I think they were 9/8. Originally I was going to submit them to the Todd signing, but it didn't make the cut. G.I. Joe 56 newsstand. I have these all as 9/8. Mortal Kombat. Moon Knight 26. Return of the Jedi 3 and 4. Those should all be newsstands. So let's see what the first book is. There you go, G.I. Joe 56 newsstand. I don't even think it's a key. I just thought a 9/8 newsstand would be great. And I got a 9/8. So I invented that song a couple years ago. So just deal with it. It's the Root Doot Doo 9/8 song. Oh, let's see. All right, Return of the Jedi number 3 newsstand. Bill Sienkiewicz. Ooh, 9/6. Can't win them all. And I sell these books, so I'm obviously hoping for the best grade. I'm not some weirdo. All right, Return of the Jedi number 4. I got a 9/8. Another 9/8. Those are actually really tough books to come by in 9/8, so I'm sure there will be a Star Wars collector that's into those. All right, Moon Knight number 26, another great Sienkiewicz cover. I love how bananas this is. I mean, his run on this book is epic. It's just a direct, but I got a 9/8, another 9/8. I'm insufferable. Absolutely insufferable. But I like it. It's like the only form of gambling that I like and have ever liked in my life is just doing this, because I have a huge inventory of books. So every once in a while, you got to pull them out and try and get a 9/8. Spawn 8, Todd, homaging Todd, homaging Todd. I got a 9/8, another 9/8. Not a special thing. I mean, like I said, I was going to submit this to the signing, but it didn't make the cut, so I figured I would submit it anyway. And then Spawn 12 newsstand. I forgot this was a newsstand, right? Another 9/8, a Todd 9/8. All right, so that's kind of like the whatever stuff. But let me tell you what I submitted in what you're going to see next. Air Pirates Funnies 1 from Dan O'Neill, a great underground book. World's Finest. Oh, it's a Golden Age World's Finest. I didn't write down the number. Amazing Spider-Man 23. Amazing Spider-Man 52. Batman 67. Amazing Spider-Man 5. Astonishing Tales 5 and 6. So before I open it, I had the Air Pirates as a 9.0. The World's Finest is an 8.5. ASM 23 is a 9.4. ASM 52 is a 9.4. Batman 67 is a 5.5 to a 6.0, and then Astonishing Tales 5 and 6, I had those as 9.2, 9.4. Moment of truth, because the ASM 5, if that comes back in a 9, I mean, that's... Okay, well, we're starting with the ASM 5. It's an early appearance of Doctor Doom, and clearly the first meeting of Doctor Doom and Spider-Man. Holy shit! What the fuck? What the fuck? And look at that. The thing about this collection, and I'll drop the... I'm sorry, I just... The thing about this collection, I don't know, if you haven't been watching the channel for a long time, I got a collection of Amazing Spider-Man. It was basically 2 or 3 through 52. Missing a couple of books in there. I don't think the first Craven was in there. It looked like the books had just been printed. And I know what a real comic book feels and looks like. And the person I bought them from was not somebody that would be able to fake books. This is I think the second 9.0 I got from that collection. The highest graded was a 9.2 ASM 14, which I had sold 2 years ago. Jesus. I mean, what a time to get this book too, because not too many people are going to have a chance to buy a 9.0. Wow. All right, well, whatever happens in this next couple of books, it doesn't really matter. All right, so what do we got? ASM 23, which I think it's a third appearance of Green Goblin, not the second. Holy shit. I had this as a 9.4, but a 9.2 is still nothing to sneeze at. Also, white pages. That's the thing also about this collection. Most of the books were white pages. Like, you knew when you looked at this that, like, this is a white page book, which is insane for a book from 1964 or whatever that is, 65. All right, so this is 52. Third appearance of Kingpin. First appearance of Joe Robertson. Kingpin, yeah, it's his third appearance, but it doesn't denote that on the label. All right, I have this as a 9.4. Woo! 9.2. White pages. I mean, there's a fucking hair on this. Disgusting. CGC, your quality control is still ass. Anyway, what's next? Okay, so we got Astonishing Tales. These were really beautiful books, and I was like, 9.2 or 9.4 on these. There's some great art in these, but another Doctor Doom cover. Woo! 9.2, which is exactly what I had it as. To me, grading makes sense when they're high grade and not any grade. So this is number 6. Look at that cover. All right, I had that as a 9.4, a 9.2, white pages. All right, next should be the Golden Age Batman. Yeah. So I got this in a different collection, locally to me, and really clean Golden Age books in there. In the Pacific Northwest, we don't have a ton of humidity, so books stored properly will usually stay the way they were. I have this, I think, as a 5.5 to a 6.0. A 6.5, and it's a 6.5 white pager with a crazy noose cover, 1951. We got 2 more books. One should be The World's Finest. That's this one. World's Finest came from that same collection that Batman came in, 57, 1952. I have this as an 8.5, a 7.0. Okay, well, it's harder with Golden Age, I think, to call a grade, unless it's like super high grade, then you're usually on the money. But also nothing to sneeze at. Beautiful cover, Win Mortimer of Batman, Robin, and Superman skiing, because that's what superheroes do in their spare time. Bruce Wayne doesn't ski. Batman skis. All right, and for those who don't know, this is Dan O'Neill's Air Pirate Funnies, which was a very controversial book, which you know, there was a lot of lawsuits from Disney against this, and it changed the way the parody law. I think it was one of the things that helped, or you know, shaped parody law. I have this as a 9.0. Came in a beautiful collection, and this was the cleanest copy. Holy good God Almighty! A 9.6. I guess I was really conservative with how I felt about this book, but I wonder if they take into account, like, this is an underground book, 1971, that, you know, underground books were never treated right. Even the only time you ever really see high-grade underground books is the file copies or stuff that was in storage for years. 9.6 white page Air Pirates funnies. I'm sure there's a 9.8 out there. Wow. Fuck, crazy submission. Oh man. Thanks. All right. So as happy as I am with the vintage books and everything, I looked at the modern slabs, all these 9.8s that I got, with the exception of one, and that Banana Gate thing, the whole warped comics inside the inner well, yeah, they never fixed that. I show you the most egregious of them all is this G.I. Joe 56. It's gonna be really tough for you to see, but if you can see the book from the edge right here where my hand is, and you just follow it, that thing's going, it's an ocean. There's literally waves in there. This is, I mean, egregious is being nice. It's fucking terrible quality control. And all of these books suffer from that. I mean, this, you can't really, like I said, oh, you can see it right there. You see that? The way this spawn goes? I mean, this thing, the vintage books, they're clearly doing a process different that has maybe quality control or just better inner wells. But these modern books, it's garbage. But this is what you're dealing with when you deal with a company that clearly wants your money and wants nothing to do with the right thing. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment down below. I have a podcast called Direct Edition, which I interview comic creators, musicians, directors, writers. Recently, Sebastian Bach on the podcast, Mark Silvestri, Jeff Darrow, Jim Woodring, Matt Fraction coming up, Jim Starlin. So you can click over to that. Links in the description below. And if you want to help support the channel, I have a Patreon. $5 a month will get you extra videos, bonus stuff, exclusive sale only for the Patreon every 2 months. For me, my name's Dave, the hobby hero, the idiot who grades even though he says he hates grading. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.